The optic on his scope glowed bright in his night vision. He could see down the narrow lane and into a field of flowing grass beyond it. Miles away, over treetops, were the twinkling lights of Sherman far in the distance. He wondered if the people of Sherman would hear what was about to take place. It was a small town. They had to know what was going on here. They must have heard the explosions and gunfire earlier. He had his earbuds in and had been listening to teams check in along the perimeter circle. Homeland had made a false probe against the road again, an armored vehicle making a run. The boys watching the road pinged rounds off the armor, and the vehicle popped smoke and turned back. It was obvious that whoever was running the show down there didn't know the numbers in the pass. If they did, they would be trying to talk surrender. They had no idea what they were getting into. John knew the tactics they were playing. Homeland sent the truck to keep focus on the road, so whatever team they had sent could attempt a sneak-in through the back. Once that team called to say they were through, vehicles would hit the road again, only this time in force. Then the team on foot would move in and kill the defenders from behind. He knew that's what they were doing, because it's what he would have done. There was a static pop in his ear. 3 men in a V formation just crossed line X-ray. Roger that. 3 entering X-ray, he heard Bobby respond. If the intel was correct, there would be 2 more. Then a break before the next team came into view. John pulled the rifle closer and tried to control his breathing. They would be in his rifle's sights soon. 4 more just crossed line X-ray, a voice said. You got 7 headed to you. There was a pause in the confirmation. He knew Bobby was trying to process the information. That was the problem with intel and game playing. People got fixated on facts, numbers, and plans and forgot how to call an audible. John spoke softly. Understood. 4 more in X-ray, total of 7. Wait for us to engage. It didn't matter if it was 5 or 7. The plan was the same. What did concern John was the follow-up team. Was it also larger, or had members just moved up? He could assume the basics applied. The follow-up men would be the reaction element of the patrol, and how they reacted would depend on how they were trained, what they had planned for. They may rush forward and assist the front element by charging through the ambush, in which case the boys in the bunker would cut them down. They could spread out and flank them, which would cause chaos and expose their line, but in the end, they could still handle it. Maybe they would just leave and return to base. John was imagining that they had no plan. They were focused on traveling up the trail, infiltrating the pass, and then breaking into fire teams. Being ambushed and hit on the way had never been part of their plan. Then there was the worst case. They would halt, dig in, and wait for orders or backup. With the element of surprise from the ambush gone, this would make them the most dangerous. It would be the most problematic, as he didn't know the size of their force and what they would do. John suddenly realized he didn't know how his own men would react if the attack was broken. He hadn't trained with the men up here. He clenched his eyes closed tight and took a deep breath, slowly releasing it. No, the people up here were trained. They had to have rehearsed these scenarios. He was the weak link, not them. He would follow Bobby's lead and trust the plan. Burst 3 turning the corner, followed by 2 and 2, Bobby said. John opened his eyes. He heard the light crunch of gravel and the click of metal on metal. He squinted in the optics and saw the first of them, a broad-shouldered man with helmet and night vision of his own. He was carrying his rifle at the high ready. The man took choppy steps, sweeping side to side, patrolling like he was indoors and not on the side of a slope. As was reported, 2 more walked in a V, one off to the left, another to the right. Further back, just coming into view, were 2 more. John wished he'd had a claymore. He would make all of them vanish at one time. He clicked his rifle off safe and waited for the lead man to draw just a bit closer. The armor would cause problems, but not much. Not at this range and with them packed into a fatal funnel. The point man took another step and froze. He lifted a fist and raised his rifle into the distance beyond John. Maybe instinct. Maybe he sensed him. Maybe he saw movement of an animal or a tree. It didn't matter, because he didn't see John.